Just have a look at these gorgeous herbs and veggies right here at the Warrnambool Community Garden. They don't get any fresher than this, so I thought I'd do a recipe that just really shows them off. And this is going to be a herb and olive dip served with crudite. And in French we say crudite, but essentially it's just raw vegetables shown off with the dip. So you can use a food processor, you can finely chop it all, or I've got my nifty little manual one here. I'm going to start with the basil. Smells so good. You can see it's been kissed by the sun, just growing out here in the Warrnambool fresh air. And the herbs can change depending on what you love and what you have. Curly parsley. It used to be the fashion and now it's not. Let's bring it back into fashion because there's so much flavour. We're going to break that up and into our little bowl. For some olives, I want to keep this quite green and fresh. So green olives that have been pitted, I'm going to add about half of them. I love smoked almonds, so smoked whole almonds. That's going to be for the crunch, and anchovies. Of course, you can leave the anchovies out, but I've got some beautiful, good quality anchovies. Some of the oil too, kind of like, it not only gives it a tiny fishy flavour, but it gives it some saltiness and some savouriness, and that's why I just love using these anchovies. Okay. We need a bit of a zing. You can use lemon, or I'm using some sherry vinegar, a good splash of that. And then just to bring everything together, because it is a dip after all, some cream cheese. Now bring it out of the fridge at least an hour before using it, because you do want it to be soft so it just mixes quite nicely. Finally, a small pinch of salt, some freshly cracked pepper, and I'll add some extra virgin olive oil. The lid goes on and I'm going to chop this until it's quite fine, but still just a little bit of texture. Now, because this is a homemade dip, I want to be careful not to over chop it. I don't want it to be smooth. We just want those little speckles throughout it. Oh, that's what I'm after. The texture is so important for a dip like this. All right, let's take the blade out and we'll just pop that to one side because I want to talk to you about these gorgeous vegetables. So let's start over here with the zucchini. Look at this yellow zucchini. It's firm, it's young, it's going to be so sweet. So for this, I want to keep the vegetables looking just as they are. So don't do too much to it. We're just going to cut them straight down the centre. And when zucchini's this young, they are so sweet, so crunchy. We'll pop them onto the plate, along with some tomatoes. Look at these beautiful tomatoes. We're just going to cut them in half, kind of like to leave the stalk on them. Cut that too. And I can't help but add this one too. I'm just going to leave this as is, maybe just trim the base of it. This is a small little zucchini. Usually we would stuff this with ricotta, but I'm going to leave this as is on our glorious plate. Some carrots, some tiny little carrots, cut them in half. You know, they're slightly gnarly, and I think that's, for me personally, makes them more attractive to the eye. I know they're going to taste so delicious. And the youngest celery, that is just so sweet. I'll add that. Don't need to peel it or anything, it's so crunchy. We'll just sneak him in there. Look at that, the pretty colours, ready for our dip, and a generous spoonful of our dip. Sort of bring it together. Place that on the side, a little bit more. And just sort of make an indent in it. Because I always find when you've got beautiful, young, fresh veggies like that, they love extra virgin olive oil. So just going to add some more olive oil to the centre there. And just to season those vegetables, a little pinch of salt, particularly on those beautiful tomatoes. That for me is like the ultimate entree when you've got friends coming over. Fresh vegetables from the garden, you don't want to do too much to them. Serve it like this, hero them. I'm going to grab a tomato and have a little taste. Get into that dip. You don't get fresher than that. It is delightful, and you can really taste the community spirit here.